Welcome back to this day trading breakdown for the 5th of June 2025. In this video, we'll analyze the biggest pre-market movers, break down their catalysts, and see if they were tradable, and if so, how they could have been traded both during the pre-market and the regular session. If you're new here, I'm documenting my trading journey, focusing on catalyst-based day trading and catalyst-based swing trading, and I'm developing an edge around news and catalysts that spark explosive stock moves. So if you want to develop your own edge, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Okay, so the first stock we're looking at today is Planet Lab, which is a aerospace and defense stock. So this stock had their financial results for Q1 2025 released the day before post-market, so on the 4th of June. And so I've already opened the article there. And so the article says that Earth imaging satellite company Planet Lab exceeded the market revenue. So this is a summary of the results. So they exceeded the market revenue expectation in Q1 as sales rose 9.6% year on year, which actually is not very impressive, but it is still a positive. But also its non-GAAP loss of $0 per share was significantly above analyst consensus estimates. Okay, so let's look at the Q1 highlights and see why the market reacted very positively to this to these financial results. So revenue was $66.27 million. That's what we saw earlier, and so this was 9.6% year-on-year growth. So it is a positive, but it's a very it's not an impressive growth, so it shouldn't spark any particular crazy move of the stock, just based off of that. Anyway, so adjusted EPS $0 versus analyst estimates of a loss of minus 0.03, so 3 cents. Significant beat, right? Okay, revenue guidance for Q2 is 66 millions at the midpoint, roughly in line with what analysts were expecting. EBITDA guidance for the full year is a loss of 9.5 million at midpoint, below analyst estimates of minus 9.3. Okay, it's not too far, but it's still below analyst estimates, so this is actually not a great point. Neither this revenue guidance for Q2. But it's because of the market, the current uncertainty actually around government policy. Anyways, operating margin minus 34.4%, up from minus 57.2 in the same quarter last year. So that's actually an improvement. A backlog of 527 million at a quarter end, and their market cap is $1.2 billion. Okay, so what is the key metric that makes you want to look at the stock and see really what's going on? Why would you be interested in this particular stock and this particular catalyst? Well, the key metric here is this. It's the fact that the adjusted EPS was 0 versus minus $3, 3 cents, sorry, which was a significant beat of analyst estimates. And so this beat of analyst estimate of the adjusted EPS, so earnings per share, coupled with the fact that this is a stock in the defense sector, which is actually a hot theme in the current market, makes it that it is possible that this catalyst can actually take the stock price much higher. So let's look at how the stock reacted. Okay, so we're looking at the 1-minute chart of Planet Lab stock here. And so as you can see, the financial results were released on the 4th of June at around, when was that? A few minutes past 4. And so the stock immediately jumped. The reaction was quite immediate on the first candle there. Everything happened and jumped from $4 all the way to $4.70. And then just kind of continued sideways there. That thing was the jump was kind of 14%. Okay, and so after that, the stock opened in the next day pre-market session, again going a little bit higher, kind of sideways action, then going a little bit higher all the way to $5. And so I suppose if you're not first of all, it would not have been tradable, post-market. And even during the pre-market, unless you are available to trade that, you know, very early on as the pre-market session opens for trading, this was not a tradable stock in the after hours sessions. But you can see though that actually the trade was during the regular session. So this is where people started trading this stock. So what that means is sometimes when you have a good catalyst for a stock, you may not have tradable opportunities during the pre-market, but what you will see usually is that you will actually see some volume, some trade, the stock would have been traded pre-market a little bit and would be gapping up on some decent volume. So this is actually the case for PL. The PL was gapping up even for the post-market session was 15%, and then a little bit more in the pre-market for the 5th of June. And so the stock was gapping up. It had financial results the day before, and a lot of people are obviously looking at why the stock is gapping up. And if they think that this is a good catalyst, which was the case, that's when you want to see the market open reaction. And so what happened here is that when the market opened, the first candle was actually a red candle, a bit of, you know, just selling or taking profit or whatever, but it was on low volume. But then the next candle was on a much larger volume. In fact, 2.8 million shares traded just on the next candle on the second minute, and that candle also was a break of that first candle, right? And it was also significantly above the pre-market high, which was around, you know, $5.18. And so this candle here was pretty key in showing where the stock was headed for the session. So I mean, it is a little bit risky to take a trade, say, depending on how people view the market open, but it is a little bit risky in the sense that you actually never know. There is a lot of craziness, volatility at the market open, but nonetheless, the stock was showing a lot of strength, a lot of volume, and even the pullback that happened right after was still above VWAP. And so maybe as a better entry for to manage your risk better would have been here at the 9:35 minute, somewhere around $550 or something like that, and you would have captured a nice trade from here, say all the way to here. 13%, that's decent. That's not something spectacular. That's, a catalyst based on earnings. And as I said, there were a lot of other measures and other results that weren't like spectacular, except for the EPS beat of the analyst consensus, which was significant. And so what that means is usually your expectation of the amplitude of the move should be based off of what you think of the catalyst, and that's why it is very important to understand the catalyst, in my view. And so for spectacular catalysts, you'd be expecting maybe a 50% or 100% move, but for some catalysts which are decent but not spectacular, you would be expecting some move, and especially if you see the stock behaving pretty well at the market open, or even few minutes after the market open, but you should always manage your trade based on how much do you think that stock will go? Is it going to be more in the 15%, 30, 50, 100, etc.? Now, next stock we're looking at today is ZENA. So Zenatech is a drone company, and they had a news released at 8 in the morning on the 5th of June, and the news was that Zenatech launches drone as a service, DAAS, for US defense and government agencies with new partnerships. So this is again related to defense sector, which is a theme in the current market. So looking at the news in more details, Zenatech, a technology company specializing in artificial intelligence drone as a service, enterprise SaaS, it's a SaaS, and quantum computing solutions, today announces the launch of a drone as a service specifically for US defense and government agencies. 2 new partnerships with consulting and government relations firms to assist in selling these services. So they are launching 2 new services. They're calling them drone as a service, a bit like software as a service. Okay. And they are partnering with 2 consultancy firms and government relations firms to assist in selling these services. Okay. Let's see if there are any numbers. Actually, I know already that there was no, because I saw this news like really live when it came out, and I was thinking, okay, is there any numbers? Are there any contracts signed? Is there any financial incentive, anything? And there was nothing. So Zenatech drone subsidiary has retained the services of blah 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 to provide congressional lobbying and defense business development consulting services. There are defense focused business development consulting for medium technology. So this is the partners that they're looking to work with. Now they have some statements here. These partnerships were instrumental in building relations with various agencies, etc., with a growing demand for advanced drone solution and security, which actually is true. But yeah, I'm not sure if they are well positioned to capture that demand. Logistics and tactical operations. The DAS model allows defense customers to deploy mission-specific drone solutions without the need for capital equipment purchases. To accelerate market entry, Zenatech has onboarded 2 seasoned military consultants to lead business development, identify pilot programs, and secure funding partnerships with the defense sector. Okay. You will see there is there is absolutely nothing concrete in this news. So when I saw this, I actually thought that it might have a kind of an overreaction. Maybe some probably algos would be kind of buying the stock, and then it'll just have a strong rejection. But the funny thing is, the market reacted a bit differently to this. So we're going to look at the market reaction now, and we're going to see why that is. So we're looking at the 1-minute chart of Zenatech, and here's so the pre-market. As you can see, when the news was out here, the stock took off from around $3 to $4.59. So that's kind of the initial reaction. Then immediately followed by top and tails, and then a rejection. So this is already not inspiring any confidence in the stock and in the catalyst. But then what happened was that the stock continued going a little bit higher, then being rejected again and kind of going around the VWAP, but trading below VWAP all this time, all the way until here. And so anyways, this price action is really, for me, was a very good reflection of the low confidence that I had on that news and that catalyst, and it was not tradable. Now the thing is, in hindsight, you could be thinking, okay, after the stocks start trading above VWAP, because sometimes you'd have to look at the the reaction, like how the stock is trading. The stock will tell you if the it will confirm if the catalyst is good or not. And so in this case, the stock started trading above the VWAP in the pre-market here, and so maybe that was a trade. but for me anyways, it's not really my strategy, so I would not be trading this. But this was a kind of a decent trade if you're trading kind of around VWAP levels, but you know, it was a 20% trade. But nonetheless, for me, this ZENA stock was not tradable pre-market, given the trade, the price action here, and given the low confidence that I had in the catalyst. Now, because this was a stock in a current theme of the market, which is the defense sector, it was still a stock to be watched at the market open and see what was going to happen with the stock. And so at the market open, actually, a lot of people were watching this stock. At the market open, there was a bit of a sort of, you know, kind of sideways action around the market open, but it was still interesting because there was no strong rejection. The stock still traded around VWAP and still respected this sort of support line here, or support zone of around $4.4, right? And it's there that it started actually trending higher. So this was an interesting trade, just based off of the fact that the stock had a catalyst, and that the catalyst was actually related to a theme of the market, which is the defense sector. And so because the stock started trading above VWAP, the trade would have been from here to here, which is a decent 30%, which is, you know, it's really decent. So from around, say, $5 to nearly, how much was that? $6.30 or $6.40. I would say this is obviously not a premium catalyst. I did not have any confidence in the catalyst, to be honest, and the fact that it offered an opportunity to trade during the regular session is I suppose something to take when you don't have when there aren't any better opportunities. But I do believe there are better opportunities in the market to focus on. Obviously, yesterday there was no particular catalyst that actually sparked any particular crazy move, and so these were two potential good opportunities that you could have identified in the pre-market without necessarily trading them, because I don't think they were tradable, but you know, preparing yourself to trade them during the regular hours if you see a setup, if you see them behaving properly. But yeah, sometimes you gotta take what the market is giving you. Actually, most of the time, that's what you should be doing anyways. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, please share, like, subscribe if you enjoy my videos, and thank you for watching.